Hello and welcome to Bookworms.
I think you're trying to tease me now, Alex. Get me to interrupt you and cut you off.
I am your host, Alex. This is the show where we read books and then talk about those books. And I am here with Joe.
Hello.
Wow, what an intro. I didn't mess it up at all. All right, moving right along. How you doing, Joe?
Doing well, Alex. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm really showing my dedication to this podcast because I drove down here at $4 a gallon to do this episode with you.
Well, I tried to do it last week, and 2 nights in a row when I was up there with you, and you're like, I'm too tired, and went to sleep. Like at 6 o'clock, people. 7 o'clock.
Yes, I'm what the doctors call a sleepy boy.
Yeah, we'll go with that. I had a few more choice terms the second night that you ditched me.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't hear him, so I was asleep.
He was snoring pretty loud. He's a loud snorer, people.
Oh, yes.
You can hear him across the house. It's pretty hard to watch a ball game when he's sleeping.
Hey, they're Red Sox games, all right? Everyone else
Hey,
is
they're
snoring
4-8 now. 4-8.
As of this recording, they're 4-8.
I saw a funny reel today saying that when Red Sox lose, childhood hunger in the nation rises.
Oh, yeah, I think you sent me that. So they donate so much food every time the Red Sox win.
Yeah, every time the Red Sox win, kids eat for free. And so every time the Red Sox lose, kids don't get to eat.
Yeah, it's gonna be a hungry summer.
Yeah. Yeah, so Alex, prepare to be hungry.
Yeah. I'm a hungry boy and a sleepy boy.
We're going to stop calling you boy now.
Yeah, I'm younger than you, so it's my natural youth and exuberance.
Bad boy.
Okay, yeah, we'll edit that out. All right, or maybe not. Maybe we'll just edit everything else out. All right.
So, Alex, it was your pick this month. What did you pick?
I picked The Adventures of Amina Al-Sirafi by Shannon Chakraborty.
And why did you pick this book, Alex?
So when we first did Some Desperate Glory...
Yeah, that rage read that we did because I was so angry that it won a Hugo.
Yeah, I wanted to read the Hugo nominees from that year. What was it, 2024, I want to say?
Yeah, I believe so, yes.
I think I said 2022 last month, but I think it's actually 2024. But yeah, I've only actually read 2 of them. Kind of bailed on the project because I liked one and the other one was just kind of meh. So I went with the one I liked. I wanted to present that to you as a more rightful winner of that year's Hugo. I also have a copy of, Starter Villain by John Scalzi. That one was nominated as well. I haven't gotten around to reading it yet. I'll let you know how that one goes.
Well, John Scalzi is one of those ones that he wins it so often they just try to give it to someone else every once in a while.
Yeah, he collects nominations for every major sci-fi fantasy award.
That man writes 3 novels a year, I think. It feels like it.
Yeah, and I have not read one of them. When I get around to Starter Villain, that'll be my first Scalzi.
I have read one Scalzi. It was okay. It was Old Man's War.
Okay.
And I think that was a Hugo winner, if I recall.
Yeah, from what I understand, he's got a good sense of humor in his books.
Yes, he's definitely likes to write funny.
Okay, good. I like that kind of style.
But anyway, so we read The Adventures of Amina Al-Sirafi.
Yes. And my joke last month was we get to make fun of Joe trying to say all these Middle Eastern names. So
Because apparently I'm just a klutz with words, aren't I?
Yes. It's Amina to start with. Amina Al-Sirafi.
Al. I'll just call her Al.
Oh, this book was a bad idea. All right. All right. So this book is about a pirate queen
named Amina.
Now, I know we're probably going to talk about comparing it and contrasting to Some Desperate Glory quite a bit, but I do want to analyze the book on its own as well.
I was going to save that to the end, Alex, if we could.
Perfect.
So, because that is my controversial question out of my list of questions. So, because it will be controversial.
Oh, I'm sure. Oh, great. I'll edit out any controversy. Don't you worry. This is my edit. I can do what I want.
I know your edits, Alex, that you don't You just send it to me however the raw footage came in.
Oh, I take a lot out. Don't you worry.
Like the really big blank spaces that last more than 5 seconds?
Yes, exactly. Anyway, let's continue on. I'm kind of scatterbrained this evening, but I'm going to read the back of the book, and we can jump right in unless we have some small
I'm waiting
talk.
for you.
All right. Amina Al-Sirafi should be content. After a storied and scandalous career as one of the Indian Ocean's most notorious pirates, she survived backstabbing rogues, vengeful merchant princes, several husbands, and one actual demon to retire peacefully with her family to a life of piety, motherhood, and absolutely nothing that hints of the supernatural. But when she's tracked down by the obscenely wealthy mother of a former crewman, she's offered a job no bandit could refuse. Retrieve her comrade's kidnapped daughter for a kingly sum. The chance to have one last adventure with her crew, do right by an old friend, and win a fortune that will secure her family's future forever? It seems like such an obvious choice that it must be God's will. Yet the deeper Amina dives, the more it becomes alarmingly clear there's more to this job and the girl's disappearance than she was led to believe. For there's always risk in wanting to become a legend, to seize one last chance at glory, to savor just a bit more power, and the price might be your very soul. That actually does a pretty good job summing up what happens in this book. It starts off as a pretty simple search and retrieve mission, and it quickly spirals out to something much bigger. So
yeah, I agree. I think that was a good description. Exactly what you're gonna get in this book. I don't think it's lying to you like some of our favorite authors to pick on, where just none of that actually happened in that description.
Exactly. So yes, we hear there's a narrator in the beginning of the story named Jamal, who kind of leads us in with a couple tales of Amina before getting into tales of the Moon of Saba. But Amina is essentially a retired pirate queen who is living on an island. She's an older woman now. She's got a kid, and she's just trying to put her past behind her and live a new, meaningful life.
Yeah, I'm just going to be honest here. Going into it, I was really nervous, Alex, because I've been burned by so many of these more modern authors that were just like some Desperate Glory, where you get into it and it's just ham-fisted, I guess. And this I was kind of nitpicky at the first probably dozen pages or so before I really started getting into it and getting into the groove of it. And it's like, no, this is actually starting off pretty decent.
Yeah, I was reluctant to start it because I thought it was going to be a similar thing. I'd flipped open the book and read a random page, and I was like, oh, okay, this is going to be like everything else. But then, yeah, I listened to the audiobook and did some reading as well, and it actually holds its own. It's a very solid book. If we just jump right into our reviews, it's got a unique style. I was actually, I don't know if it's a unique style, but I was actually, from the very beginning, I was comparing it to Xena Warrior Princess.
That's a good comparison. I didn't even think of that.
I don't know. It's got the older female protagonist who's really talented at everything and can kick the shit out of anybody kind of deal and doesn't take any shit. And even the voice of the audiobook narrator almost sounded like Lucy Lawless. So I was and just that sense of humor mixed with action that prevails throughout the entire book. It's got a very campy tone, so it's very Xena-esque in its delivery.
Do you think that was on purpose?
I don't know if it's on purpose, but it's definitely...
the author is definitely that generation where she would be familiar with it.
Yeah, I think...
She's around our age, I think.
Yeah, I think it's at least call it inspiration, I guess. Yeah, we can... it does feel like a longer episode of Xena, because it's even got Xena was big on LGBT messaging and representation, and this book has that in droves as well. So, and all the bad guys are a bunch of horny idiots, and all the good guys are more heroic and stoic, and it's kind of there's a lot you can compare it to Xena, so it's a good time.
So we get into it, and you said we get a little bit of backstory on Amina, and then we get into her hanging out on her roof and with her kid and being poor and wondering why life sucks so bad.
Yeah, she essentially retired, and she's not because she was rich and had the money, but because
something bad happened.
Something bad happened, and it was kind of her calling, like, oh, I got to settle down. I got a kid now. So she's not a pauper. She's living in a decent place, but it's all self-sufficient. She's built it with her bare hands.
And the place is run down. She didn't build it with her own hands, but the place is run down. It's basically out of the way, which is why she picked it. She lives with her daughter. Her mom's nearby. Her brother and his family are nearby, but she's mostly left alone. Yes. Until some little old lady shows up at her front door.
Yes, so Salima shows up. She's an old woman, the grandmother of a girl named Dunya, and she offers Amina $1 million to try and find Dunya, who has run off with a Frankish mercenary named Falco, and we're unsure why. Dunya is this 16-year-old girl. She's arranged to be married to somebody, and she's for some reason mysteriously run off with Falco, and Amina is hired to find her. And the $1 million is described as like a king, like what you would find in the vault of like the wealthiest king in the world.
So I'm reading a book right now about the Templars. It's a nonfiction book, and the King of France, I forget which Louis it was, but in the towards the end of one of the last Crusades, he gets trounced in Egypt, and he gets ransomed back for 800,000. I don't know if it's dinars or whatever their currency is. So, but apples to apples here. It's so more than a king's ransom, literally.
Yeah, it's
and the whatever currency they were using in Egypt is half the worth of the French currency. So
yeah, so it's basically she's paying Oprah money to get her granddaughter back.
Yeah, and the reason why she's able to use the guilt trip, saying, "My son, you killed my son, or he died on your ship. You had to help him in his daughter in his memory."
Yes, Asif. He's a recurring character. He's never really seen. He's just described. But yes, he is a dead crewman of Amina, and Dunya is his daughter. So Amina, fueled by guilt and the promise of world-changing money, sets off, and she kind of full Blues Brothers style. She gets the band back together.
Yeah, so she starts with her friend, the Poisoner.
Yes, Dalila is her name.
Is it Dalila? I thought it was like Delilah.
So she's called Dalila in the audiobook, so I'm going with Dalila. I think Delilah is a more like European like style name, and since the Middle East, I think Dalila is more.
Well, I'm going to call her Delilah because that's how I was calling her in my head when I was reading the book.
Yeah, I think the average Westerner will look at that and be like, Delilah. It's Dalila. So Dalila, she's about the same age as Amina. Amina's, what, 40s, 50s?
40s.
Dalila is about the same age, and at this point in her life, she's going blind. So there's some blind humor in there. But they get back together, and they go with a little bit of fuss, but Dalila's very like one of those loud, opinionated. She almost is like a foil to Amina.
She's also a Christian.
Also a Christian, yes. So we're getting some vast
religiosity.
Yes, and they go to find Amina's first mate,
who's also the captain of her ship now since she left, and she's supposedly getting some cut of it, but I wasn't really sure how that was working out.
Yes, this is Tinbu. Oh. So Tinbu is they find him in a port city, and he's actually just been arrested.
Very timely for her to show up.
Yes, he's been arrested, and and he's apparently he's been sleeping with a married man. Yeah, but yeah, so Tinbu is in jail, and to break him out, they basically blow up the port. They burn down a lot of ships, bust him out of jail, and take off on Amina's old ship, the Marawati.
Yeah, with a new crew.
Yeah, it's basically Tinbu's crew becomes Amina's crew, and
but Amina doesn't know any of them.
Yeah,
and we don't really get introduced to any of them, except for the cook briefly, who loses a tooth.
Yeah, I'm gonna spoil this opinion. The book does have a problem with secondary characters outside of like Amina and Raksh. There's not a lot of character to not a lot to sink your teeth into with the mates there. Like Dahlia, like they're very background. Maybe in the sequels they'll take a bit bigger step forward, but they're just kind of there most of the time. It's definitely Amina's story. She's like drives the whole thing. Like I feel like Dahlia, Tinbu, and eventually they pick up Majed. They don't really do a whole heck of a lot by the end of it.
Yeah, it's told in her voice. It's her narration. And that is another thing, is every once in a while the book is interrupted because she's narrating it to, was it Jamal?
Yeah, Jamal.
And you'll get her side of whatever Jamal asked. So remember on, was that book? God something or whatever. It was that Assassin School book. And they had the narrator where every once in a while would have a little break off at the bottom and have some wise ass thing to say.
Yeah, you did like the Terry Pratchett thing with like the little asterisks.
Yeah, and it was at first I thought it was kind of okay. This is kind of funny, and then it got kept doing it and doing it and doing it. And it got old, and you were just like, I fucking hate this.
Yeah, I ended up skipping over all this.
Yeah,
and it's not funny. It's not.
No, but it was. So the first couple were kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, that's amusing, and then it just kept going, and it was like, nah, okay. But that's what I felt like. This was like an attempt at that.
Yeah, so it's not set up like a notation at the bottom. It's like she actively interrupts her narrative to talk directly to Jamal, especially when she gets into sexual stuff, because she's like, yeah, I haven't had sex in 10 years, and all of a sudden I'm on board a ship with a bunch of very fit shirtless sailors, and my eye starts to wander. Or she like get into like, I don't know, having sex with Raksh or like her former husbands, and she'd always like pause and be like, why are you blushing, Jamal?
Yeah, and but you said, or like Jamal will be having a conversation where they're like asking her a question, but you only hear her side of it, and usually it's her saying, "Why are you interrupting me?" kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it just kind of it was kind of annoying. It is because it just kept breaking it up, and you're like, "Come on, let's just keep moving."
Yeah, I mean, she does keep it like few and far between, but yeah, it can be
disruptive,
a little annoying at times. I don't know. It's a stab at humor, and there's funnier things that happen in the book.
Exactly.
Like Timbu's got a cat that's on board the ship, and it's like
the worst cat ever.
Yeah. They're like, does he catch any mice? It's like, oh, he's getting there. The other day, he put his paw on a bug. It's like, oh, that's pretty funny.
Was it Amani was like, you put your cat's paw on the bug, didn't you? Yes.
So anyway, getting back, and they go and find the navigator of the ship, the old navigator Majed.
He's got a whole family now.
Yeah, he's got a whole family. They're originally not going to bring him on, but he actually insisted on going with them.
Yeah, they just basically what happened was before they go to find the navigator, they get a little bit more information on who they're actually after, because you missed the scene where they go to find the Frank's middleman.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And he had a nasty death when he shared some information.
Yeah, so yeah, like this curse where he would die if he disclosed information about Falco, and he disclosed some information about Falco and died. And
it was legit, like, so they hand him a purse of money, a purse of coins, and he starts choking on those coins. Like, they magically go into his throat, and he's coughing them up.
Yeah, that was cool as shit.
Yeah,
awesome.
It was a pretty neat curse. And of course, the team is freaking out because they're like, oh crap, this Frank is a powerful sorcerer. We're not equipped for this. So they go find the old lady.
Yeah, they go back to Salima,
Yeah.
and they tell her like, "Hey, this is way over our heads. We can't do this." And Salima's like, "Well, I'm going to kill your
blackmail you.
I'm going to kill your daughter if you don't help me." And so, she's got this whole this secondary plan where if Amina bails, they kill her daughter, and there's nothing Amina can do. She can't.
I felt like that there were ways she could have gotten out of it, but it obviously wouldn't have been the same story then. But it's like,
yeah,
I feel some plot holes here.
Everything that Amina could have done would have jeopardized her daughter. It's kind of one of those sort of things. Like if the only thing she could do to save her, not put her daughter at risk, was to look for Dunya. So it made sense to me.
I would have said fine. I would have played along just long enough to sail back home, grab my daughter, and skedaddle. And granted, she would have lost her brother and her mom probably, but they'd be willing sacrifices.
You can get brothers and moms anyway.
Yeah. Moms are usually old at this point and die all the time. Love you, Mom.
Yes, but so they continue the search, essentially, and
they go to the Navigator.
Yep, they go to the Navigator. They discover that Falco's looking for the moon of Saba, which is described as this pearl that has magical powers to it.
It's giant.
Yeah, it's this giant pearl that can bestow magic upon its wielder.
Yeah. And the Navigator is able to decipher the clues that Amina got from Dunya's bedroom. And that's why he says, I'm going to go with you, because he's a big on exploring new places. And he's like, hey, this is some place brand new that no one's really ever been to, and I want to go there. Just so to say I've been there.
Yeah, so they sail to an island called Socotra. And on Socotra, Amina is... they discover a village that's been massacred. And then Amina is reunited with her final husband.
Yes.
Raksh. Raksh is he's kind of described as djinn-like, but he's not a djinn, he's just a demon. So he
doesn't like that name.
Yeah, he's got the blue skin and the horns. And he's very...
He wears a heart amulet that's actually still beating.
Yeah. He's a pretty cool character. I like Raksh.
Yeah, he was okay.
Yeah. He's like, I don't know, one of those just chaotic kind of people that... it's like he's obviously anything he does, like if he's helping you, he's doing it to help himself.
Yeah. So he just describes himself as a chaos something, or I forget what terminology he was saying he was, because he's not technically a demon, he's just a magical being, and there's a whole family of them, and they all have slightly different aspects to it. So he does chaos, but it's his powers come from other people's greed, essentially, and he'll take your greed and he'll match it, but and you'll get your greatest desires, but at a cost.
Yeah, everything he does is underhanded. So you'll think you're getting eternal life, and then you'll get sentenced to life in prison. That kind of thing. He's always got an underhanded way to get something for himself and screw you over. And his actions actually directly and indirectly led to Asif's death. And it's a large portion of Amina's guilt over Asif's death is that she knew that Raksh was a demon and brought him on board anyway, because they got married in a night of drunken passion before he disclosed what he was.
But she knew what he was.
And then after learning what he was after the night they consummated their marriage, she kept him aboard because he promised her wealth and power and everything.
So this is one thing that bothered me towards it. So first half of this book I really liked. Second half I thought it nosedived. And this is one of the things that kind of bugged me. So the reason why Raksh wants to marry Amina is because he needs to make a contract with a sailor so he can cross the ocean. Because for one of his downsides is he cannot cross the ocean unless if someone brings him along willingly. And he has to have what he calls a contract. And Amina, in her drunkenness, says, well, a marriage is a contract, and I'm horny and you're horny, and I want to sleep with you, but because my religion doesn't permit me just to sleep with you, we have to get married. So they do that. Later in the book, he's able to cross the ocean on his own.
That's right, yeah, because he steals a life raft, right?
He does.
Yeah. I mean, is that part of the Marawati, though? Like, with the life raft? And he only winds up on the closest islands, anyway. I don't know.
But again, it just started getting inconsistent. You know?
Yeah. I guess there is a plot hole there.
I mean, I get why they had to do it to get her onto that island and back off that island. But anyways, I digress.
Yeah. So they're reunited. They can't hurt Raksh because he's
a demon.
He's an otherworldly being, and they're human. But while they're on the island, they have their first run-in with Falco. And Falco's got his henchmen, and he's a bad dude. He's described as actually being kind of normal looking, which is kind of a
think your average Frenchman.
Yeah. Pull the curtain back. Actually, I think Frank is like a Serbian thing, isn't it?
No, it's any European.
Okay.
That's what. And again, that Templar book. When they were fighting over Jerusalem, anyone out of Europe was a Frank. Okay. But it was the reason why they're called Franks is because there was primarily the French that started the whole crusade movement. And they were the primary movers for a good chunk of that crusade. So he could be any European nation, but odds are, listening to his side of the story, he was probably French in origin of some sort.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. All right, but yeah, Falco, he's basically just a warrior who's obsessed with the occult, and he's looking for the moon of Saba so that he can get more magic power.
Yeah, basically, he hears that make him all powerful.
Yeah, and Dunya is interested in that sort of thing, and she has knowledge of where it might be located, so that's why he brought her along.
Yep. And we had learned through this book that we were told that she was kidnapped, but we learned that she was just trying to escape a marriage that she didn't want to do because she doesn't view herself as a girl, and two, because she thought that her family was not using their knowledge to its full extent because they had escaped Baghdad due to crumbling societies and all that stuff. And they, while still massively rich, they did not have nearly the power that they used to have. And they were guardians of a lot of magical objects.
Okay.
You're lost there, Alex.
Yeah,
Did you miss all that?
One little cross-eyed. Yes. No, I got it on. Just.
Do you remember all this, Alex?
Yeah, it's been a few weeks, but yeah, there's a lot of lore associated with this book that you might miss on the first read, even on the second read. So
I only read it once, and I got it just fine, Alex. I don't know what's wrong with you.
Yeah. But yeah, they had through great effort because the Falco's he's a really good villain to face off against Amina. It takes a lot of effort, but they managed to get Dunya away from him and escape, and they sabotage his ship so that he can't tail them.
No.
What do you mean, no?
No.
No.
So they go to the island, they see his ship is wrecked.
Oh, that's right, he did crash.
And it's only like a half a ship. They rescue Dunya. No, what? Do they rescue Dunya?
Yeah, they get Dunya out of there.
They also rescue the rest of the villagers that were left alive but were being slowly sacrificed. Amina has to stay behind. No, Dunya, they did not rescue Dunya. She had escaped on her own.
Oh, God, you're right.
And she was on her.
They found her on a ship.
Yeah,
they found her on a little life raft.
Yeah, right. And Amina gets captured by the Frank. What's his name again? Falco. And he is cold-blooded psychopath, but batshit crazy. But is able to one of those people like villains that can just hide it just enough that you're like, I don't know. But he's so charismatic that you're like, okay. Yeah. But we find out that his whole crew has been cursed. Essentially, think Pirates of the Caribbean, but instead of super skeletons, they're just
they're all
they're more like dead man's what's that? What was the one where the second one there, where the octopus face guy? Or was it?
Dead Man's Chest.
Yeah, Dead Man's Chest. So they're like that kind of cursed.
Yeah, they're like super. They have like super strength, and
But they're forming into basically sea-like creatures with pinchers and exoskeletons and all that stuff. And they're trying to force her to join them so they can get her ship and get off the island. But she's refusing, so they force a bunch of crap down her throat. And then her friend there, the poisoner, who we had learned in Tinu, have a bunch of not dynamite, gunpowder,
Yeah.
and they start blowing shit up.
But they cause a bunch of explosions. They take off.
Yeah, so
Majad uses like navigation charts and wind directions and stuff to calculate where Dunya might have drifted off to in her life raft. They find her. They rescue her. They learn that she was helping Falco find the Moon of Saba, and Amina also finds out she wanted to flee the marriage because she was Dunya's trans and is questioning her gender identity and didn't want to get married.
Yep, and so they're trying to get back to the mainland, and a giant sea monster is chasing him down.
Yeah, so it's called a Marid. It's basically
a Marid.
Yeah, Marid. It's basically it's like if you picture a kraken, you're not far off. It's a bit like a sea scorpion thing with tentacles.
Yeah,
and it's a really cool monster, and it's like basically carrying the destroyed ship of Falco's and
on its head.
On its head, and it's in a battle that's straight out of Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
They're tentacles coming up over the Marawati, and they're fighting the tentacles, and eventually
they're able to cut one off before they basically get picked up and shaken, and she loses 5 whole crew members.
Yes, and
it never said how many crew members she actually has on her ship, or like what size the ship is.
Yeah. Oh, they go into detail about what the Marawati is,
but not. But again, we don't have a size of crew or how long the ship is. I mean, like, is it a 40-foot ship? Is it a 80-foot ship? I mean, these are some big differences here.
Yeah, I suppose.
And I mean, I think this is what 1300s this takes place in, thereabouts, 1400s.
Yeah, thereabouts.
1200s.
Yeah. It's not.
Maybe?
I don't know if a full year is actually given.
Yeah, but it's around that. It's after the Crusades, but the Crusaders are still in Jerusalem. We think, at least that's like kind of like what's hinted at. So it's
doing some quick research. It says 12th century.
Okay, so again, I think it was. I think a lot of as I read. Did you read the afterword that she had?
I did not.
Okay, so I think a lot of her stuff ranged like a 200 to 300 year range. So it's like the ship she was saying, some of that actually does take place later. You know, like in real history, she just put it all together to make it a better story.
Yeah, never let the truth get in the way of good story.
Yeah, so which I don't have a problem with that. I'm just pointing that out. So like again, it's like a lot of her ship technology and transport I think was a little bit later than when the story took place.
Yeah, and she's it's still like it's very well researched, even with the intentional anachronisms, just to help with the ease of storytelling.
Anyway, so yeah, Amina basically walks the plank essentially.
Yeah, she gets ejected from her ship. She also learns that the Moon of Saba is not a pearl in that time period. It's actually a wash basin.
Yes.
And it was a wash basin that's holding the spirit of like a moon god who was hiding in it so he could watch women bathe.
And we basically get a bunch of, throughout this point in the story, we get a bunch of stories of different versions of what the myth is.
Yes, Jamal is cutting in with different
and these cut-ins I don't mind. Like when we're getting the background information and it's like, here's one of the like million different versions of this stories that... And it fits with that time, with what we know in that story, the book so far. And then we learn a little bit more information, and it goes, oh, by the way, here's another version of the story that fits better with what we know now. And kept going and going. So I thought that was kind of neat.
Yeah, it's kind of like the evolution of storytelling in history. Like as you learn more, the story changes. And, yeah. Or even if you don't learn more, the story changes as time goes on.
Yeah.
And that's how it went from being a wash basin to a pearl.
Yeah, we're kind of going backwards in time for versions of stories that we're getting.
Yeah, and it's sort of like with Napoleon being short. He wasn't actually short. He was average height.
Yeah. He was short for our standard.
Yeah. He was like, what, 5'6"?
Yeah.
A little bit shorter than me. I don't know.
Yeah, about your height, Alex.
Yeah.
If only you had a couple more inches.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I got you beat, so that's what
No, you don't.
Oh, yeah, I do.
No, you don't.
Oh, yeah, I do.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
Anyways.
Yes.
So Amina's stuck out. See, we said Rax had abandoned ship before the sea monster got there. And they both wind up on a magical island.
Yes. And Amina doesn't know much about it. She's been stuck on a raft for a few weeks. She doesn't know how long it's been, but it's essentially a few weeks. She's barely survived. She drinks some water that she finds, and things start to kind of change immediately for her. But yeah, she's reunited with Raksh, and first thing she does is beat him up. And she's able to do that all of a sudden because initially he couldn't be hurt, but she hits him and it actually hurts him.
He actually bleeds his own blood.
Yes, he's very White Goodman.
He explains to her she's on this magic island and that the beings that control the island are very particular about humans being on their island and that she needs to tread carefully. And then he's immediately like, let's go talk to these guys because we don't want to spend any more time on this island.
Yeah, so these are basically bird men called Perry.
Yeah,
and they're very they're a
nation of lawyers.
Yeah, they don't get involved with the ways of men, but they will punish you for breaking their laws. So
and they're very lawyerly. It's kind of comical in the way that they're debating.
Yeah, they're they're up in like a sky tower kind of deal, and they find out Amina had drunk water on the island and imbued herself with magical powers.
Water and ate some of the food there.
And therefore she has become a transgression, which is what they call magical artifacts in the human world. And so they're like, oh, well, you need to be killed. And then they like open a trapdoor beneath her and she falls.
Oh, so the sky tower is not really a tower. They're just literally hanging out in the clouds, and it's through magic that they're staying floating. And when she's looking down, because they're basically standing on clouds, the illusion disappears so that she starts falling.
Yeah, but one Perry kind of like takes sympathy on her and like flies down, saves her, and like they talk for a little bit. This part was really boring. I didn't like it. But then Amina, in order to essentially save herself and get off the island, promises the Perry that she will track down 5 magic items, 5 of these transgressions, and bring them to the Perry to be destroyed.
Yes. And so this Perry had brought her back to the group. She makes her deal. She gets her estranged husband back and this Perry who's being excommunicated, but part of his punishment for going against the wishes of the majority is he has to monitor that she's actually doing her part.
Yes. And that gives her the ability, though, to get off the island and get back to finding Falco and rescuing her crew.
Yeah, that's where she realizes that she gets back to the island where the pearl is, the wash basin, mere days before the full moon, which is their deadline to have to getting it.
Yeah, it's like whoever possesses the moon of Saba at the full moon will become basically a god. Like it's way bigger than any of them had anticipated. It becomes like a world-saving event.
Yeah, so what we didn't mention is the other side of this island is where the pirates like to hang out. And she refers to these as the real pirates because they're actually out there doing terrible things. And it's like, again, straight out of Pirates of the Caribbean style pirates hanging out in what's the city?
Tortuga.
Tortugas. It reads almost exactly like that.
Yeah, and there's I don't know. This part was also when you're writing a book, try to avoid introducing new characters in like the back third of your book, because Chakraborty does this with the Perry and then with the pirate captain who helps her, and it's a lot gets lost. He's generic pirate. This is could have been his name,
and the way she sold him was he's going to be this terrible, like basically just evil man, and he ends up being just this jolly guy that finds this tall, strong woman attractive.
And he's like the pirate captain in Stardust, who's like, the cloud pirates, and they're like, "Mah," but then reality is actually like just like a nice dude who gives him passage. And
and it helps him out for just maybe getting some treasure from the other side of the island.
Yeah, essentially. And so they go to the secret place that has the wash basin, and we have our final confrontation.
Yeah, and at this point I was checked out, Alex. I'm not gonna lie. I was so done with this book by that point.
You're done with it? Kind of anticlimactic. I'm not gonna lie. It is. I wasn't done with it, but the final battle does leave a lot to be desired because essentially
Shannon does not write fight scenes very well.
Yeah, because essentially Falco, or they have to like read a spell over the wash basin, and Dunya changes it so that instead of Falco gaining the powers, it unlocks the god within the wash basin, and it takes over Falco's body.
But before we even get there, so we have the battle with the crew, which they are able to beat fairly handedly, even though the pirate that they brought in, half of his crew gets killed, but they rescue all of her crew, all Amina's crew, and then they had to fight the sea monster, the Mara. And Amina handily beats that, while Timbu gets severely wounded. Well, he was already kind of wounded, but he gets further wounded. But otherwise, no harm, no foul. And so they're able to release the sea monster from Falco's control, and it takes back off into the ocean. And then she has to go into this cave where she has to cross all these monsters, and she battles one, but then is able to bypass the rest, and then she gets into the room where the basin is. So I said, very long, convoluted, and again, I'm just kind of rolling my eyes here because it's like this is getting to be too much of an action movie. Like an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
Yeah. I mean, even blowing up the port city when they were rescuing Timbu isn't the best writing in the world.
But it was at least Pirates of the Caribbean exciting still.
Yeah.
But by this point, we're getting to the point where she's too Mary. In my opinion, it was getting to be too Mary Sue and just could do no wrong. Everything she does just works out. If you get my drift.
I hear what you're saying. Yeah. But yeah, basically, it's very Indiana Jones, where essentially, it didn't really have to do anything. Yeah. Falco defeated himself, kind of like the Nazis defeated themselves in Raiders.
Well, and so it's like, it also, the sea monster apparently owes her one for getting released from Falco, and immediately comes in there and saves her so that it no longer owes her by busting a hole into the cave and killing, or basically taking out the god.
Yeah, but like his weakness was moonlight, so it broke a hole in the cave, and the moon hit Falco and destroyed him.
Yeah, and then the other thing was, the whole idea was, if this god got released, Rask's and all of his family, including, we believe but we don't know, Amina's daughter.
No, we do know that.
But we don't know because she assumes it, but we don't know. She doesn't know if the child of the person is, Rask, is going to be as affected. She just assumes it. And basically, it's like, as soon as this god gets released, all these chaos demons serve this god. And basically, as Rask explained it, it's like the worst feeling of loss of freedom, and you're just going absolutely crazy. And he gets released, and Rask doesn't. He's not on scene, but we never hear about anything. At the end of the story, when we are supposedly reunited with the daughter, which it kind of glosses over, but nothing ever comes out. Oh yeah, that was your the mother was like, your daughter acted really weird for like 20 minutes. We thought she was having a seizure or something. None of that. It was just zero consequences. Just, oh yeah, he escaped, and then we kill him almost immediately.
Yeah, that's what happens. There's there could have been bigger, I guess, consequences.
Well, and
But
not only
it does kind of tie it up with a nice little bow.
it does, but I guess I was looking for something where, and again, Amina gets all these superpowers, but they're so inconsistent. Where sometimes she has them, sometimes they don't work. But the whole time she's been going in bronze, and she's facing off a guy that is bronze and smarts, and she's already lost to him trying to match up to him muscle to muscle. And it's like, okay, this is where we're going to go in, and she has to outwit him. And it's going to be, she's obviously a smart character, but every time she's gone up against him, it's, we're going to match muscle for muscle, and she gets her butt kicked. And yeah, she has these new superpowers, but she's also just fought the sea demon and the sea creature, and is exhausted. And it's like, and she's literally just running around circles around this god, trying not to get killed by him. And it's like, how about we have something where it's, I said, matching wits, or preventing the god from actually getting out and having a different way of locking him away. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
This part of the book was, I thought, just start following that pattern that all these other books that authors now kind of go down. It's just very...
Yeah, it's sort of like he gets killed by his own greed.
Yeah.
Essentially. And
I listened to a podcast where the guy talks science fiction. He loves hating on American writers. This guy's German, I think, and he loves hating on American writers. He loves British writers. But him and his girlfriend were saying something about another American writer that is fairly famous. I forget which one it was, but saying that basically all American writers fall into the same pitfalls where all their stories sound exactly the same depending on which era of science fiction or fantasy that you're reading. And he said, in this book, basically almost to a T, matched everything that they said. Yeah, every book ends up just like this, with a bunch of quote unquote diverse but not diverse characters that are kind of Mary Sue, that are perfect at everything. They gain all this power, but don't change the system. They just become the system. You understand what I'm saying here?
Yeah, I mean, it does follow a pretty basic storytelling pattern. Like
like he's saying, where you read a British author say, a lot of times it's either the good guys, like say 1984, the good guys don't really win. They lose. You can't beat the system. The system is just the system. Or they say, you're changing the system. You just say, hey, I took over. We're going to deny this path. We're not going to just take the power and, we'll be the good guys because we're the good guys. Or it's like very, again, it's like very American ideals being put onto other cultures, which I felt like this ended up being. Where at the beginning of the book, it felt like, okay, yeah, this I could see this being a Middle Eastern. I don't know a lot about Middle Eastern history, but from an American point of view, it's like, okay, this is definitely a different type of story. Then by the end, I know this is American writing, American editing.
Chakraborty is from Jersey.
Yeah, she is. I get it. But it's for someone who did all this research, you'd think she would have had a more Middle Eastern style ending.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been better if there was some sort of loss or you're sacrificing something for the greater good. Because there is none of that. Like, she does, I think, pull her punches in the end, where none of the central characters die. They don't Amina doesn't lose anything. She's has to fulfill another obligation in order to finish this obligation. She has to do another one. But it does follow a general pattern that a lot of books follow, where good triumphs over evil, and it's this whole hero's quest, that's been told a billion times.
Well, and again, she's supposedly this really nasty pirate, not as nasty as these other pirates supposedly, but still a pirate. And by the end, it's like, no, we're just adventurers. We're just here for a good time. We're not really that bad. And what kind of whitewashes their crimes, and kind of says, oh, we only kill people they force us to, and then it's like, oh, we really don't kill people unless if they're other bad guys, and
no, they're supposed to be bad people.
Yeah, but it's they're being written as heroes all of a sudden, and it's like, I get it's from Amani's point of view, but again, it's just like too black and white. We're good, they're evil, and none of this. Yeah, we had to do something bad to get something better. We had to sacrifice Dunya because she started unlocking this god, and we couldn't let that happen. Okay, so something, that doesn't have to be what it was, but something like that. We had to sacrifice the innocent villagers, let them die because it would have impeded our mission. And no, we save everybody.
Yeah, it's kind of like it'd be cool if it was like, you ever watched Torchwood?
No. Oh, yes, I did watch. Yeah, that was the Western, right?
Torchwood?
Yeah.
No. This is like
I think it's Deadwood.
Doctor Who spinoff. It's like one of the characters he has to sacrifice his grandson to save humanity. And it's like really, really powerful. But yeah, something like that would have been.
It was a Kingfisher. Was her name?
T. Kingfisher.
Yeah, T. Kingfisher. I read one of her books. I think that was another Hugo winner. The year before Desperate Glory.
It's like Nettle and Bone or something.
Yeah, Nettle and Bone. And I again, the ending kind of ended where it was, everyone wins, no loss. But there was one really powerful scene in there where her and her team run across this woman that has a magical doll choking her. And we learned that, no, this magical doll, she infused the magic into the doll for loving it too much and not being able to let it go, and now it won't let go of her, and it just hangs on her back, whispering in her ear all the time, and she just acts like this crazy lady. And they like the main character's like, we got to save her, and they take the doll off, and the woman freaks out, give it back to me, I can't live without it. And they're like, but this thing's killing you. And she's like, I don't care, it's my doll, give it back. And they finally give it back to her, and they had to kind of leave her be, and they're like, and finally someone says, like, you can't save everyone. People, some people don't want to be saved. Some people you just can't save because otherwise we can't save the kingdom. And throughout the whole story, there was a kind of that theme of all these humans are being enslaved by the fairies, and we got to save these people. It's like, well, but if we go saving all these people, that we lose the kingdom. Your sisters get murdered, and then the kingdom falls. So we're this book that has really none of that.
Yeah, like even going back to Xena, like Xena's son dies during the series. Like it's like she experiences heavy losses, and she's back and forth with Gabrielle because Gabrielle's like demon husband kills him, and it's like a whole, like, it creates a lot of like really powerful drama in that season. And I don't know, I think like I said, Chakraborty does polar punches, and there's not heavy losses. I am curious to see where it goes in the sequels, because obviously with the finding the transgression, she sets it up pretty well for sequels.
Yeah, she's got a 5-book series.
Yeah, well, 4. Yeah, I guess 5 books, because the Wash Basin counts as the first transgression. So they have 4 more to go, and after they vanquish Falco, basically they Amina, probably, I think it's one of the funnier scenes. She sleeps with Raksh to get him off his guard, like he's thinking like, oh, like she and I are finally going to become pirate king and queen, and then like she sleeps with them, gets him like conked out, then throws him onto a raft and sets him adrift.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny.
Yeah, and like his whole thing is like he wants the marriage to end so that he can escape. He doesn't realize he has a daughter.
Yeah.
And
they never
and so she promised him a divorce, but made up that it's really complicated. It's going to take a lot to get it done, even though apparently it was relatively simple. But she realizes that we can't let this connection with this guy go because we might need him, and whatever the contract is, we're going to keep meeting up with this guy no matter what we do to him.
Yeah, essentially.
Another thing that annoyed me was the pirates that helped her. they were just, oh yeah, oh good, you can keep your magic knife and that we gave you that's really valuable, and we got all the treasure we ever wanted. Even though the whole time I was like, I don't know if we're gonna have enough treasure in this place to make them happy after we promised them, mega riches. And
Yeah. I don't know. This is pirate code and stuff. I don't know.
yeah, it was just the whole thing just kind of said I was really annoyed by the end.
Yeah. But yeah, they bring our Amina reports to Salima, says, we found Dunya, we rescued her. She does not want to come back. She's not going to come back. I can't make her come back. And Dunya transitions. We find out she is actually Jamal, has transitioned into Jamal, and Jamal is telling the story. And they are Amina is reunited with her daughter, and
we get kind of a blast in the future where they're all much older. Like Amina's daughter's young adult instead of preteen or whatever, and Jamal is fully transitioned, has become a scribe because that's what they wanted to do, which I thought again was kind of a lost opportunity where it felt like, yeah, we're gonna return Dunya, and then we're gonna let her escape, and she's just gonna come with us because we need her knowledge of lore for the next 4 things.
Yeah, that would have been cool if Dunya had confronted her grandmother.
Yeah, I think that would have been a better story. It said you kind of just got to go back, tail tucked between the legs, and it's like, psych, we're actually breaking her out of this, and we're leaving.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little less believable, I guess, if you have the 16-year-old confronting their grandmother, saying like.
But
hey,
at this point, Alex, what is believable here? I mean, we're
already so far out of. This is a fantasy story.
We're already so far out of reality at this point, where we're fighting sea monsters, running up their tentacles like I don't even know what.
Like Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, Pirates of the Caribbean. I mean, what's a 16-year-old who just summoned a moon god, not have against her grandmother? I mean, apparently they have a house djinn that's on her side.
I don't know. But yeah, the story ends there and left open so that the adventures can continue. I think the second book, it hasn't come out yet, but it's coming out soon.
I thought it did come out.
Gosh, what's it called? Tapestry of Fate. It is coming out this year at some point.
This year, okay.
Might already be out.
So, final thoughts, Alex?
I give it 4 stars, even with... my big thing was the background characters not really doing much to enhance the story.
The navigator was just there. He didn't even do anything.
Oh my god, yeah, he was useless. Majad. He was essentially there to find the island. They needed him to find where the island was. But then
they just left him behind.
And then, he's just literally just there.
Timbu went from kind of goofy and funny to this love-struck, idiot that can't really do much of anything.
Yeah, Timbu really didn't do shit. He was just like, all right, we got our first mate. And then, they have a few conversations here and there. Amina's feeling guilty because she got Asif killed, and then they all disclose that they were at some point tricked by Raksh.
Yeah, and we learned Asif had made a terrible deal out of his own accord.
Yeah. And
that even Ross was like, don't do it, damn it, you did it.
Yeah.
And basically turned himself into a zombie.
Yeah, he turned himself into a zombie. They had to burn his body. Yeah.
But again, it was just like all these side characters just they didn't. Yeah, I gave this 2 stars.
Yeah. I enjoyed the humor in the story. I enjoyed the adventure, and like I said, I'm a big Xena fan, so I enjoyed the campy tone that ran throughout it all.
First half of the book I really loved, and then when we started going into these patterns of, okay, I've read this before, and it's like, this isn't what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something that's going to challenge the whole narrative, especially because this is set in the medieval Middle East, which is an area that doesn't get a lot of writing for Western culture. It's like, okay, you could do something really interesting here.
Also, an older black female protagonist.
Yeah,
who's not this. Comparing it to some Desperate Glory, he's not this pissed off teenager with something to prove.
Yeah, I said you had a lot of opportunities to really break the mold, and then you were starting to do that. And yeah, there was a lot of problems in the first half of the novel, but it was like I can forgive that because the story is interesting and funny and fun, and then so it just started going down to just these tropes that just annoy the crap out of me. And it's like, again, it's not that it's the female author, it's because it's even the male authors that piss me off because they do the exact same thing. But it's
Yeah,
like,
there's
it is a trope that you get the female author, YA author that's not really YA, all write exactly the same, and it's like, okay, that's what this turned into.
Yeah, the pop lit just follows a cookie cutter thing. Like, it's like, the third act, she's up against the rope. She's clearly been overpowered by the villain. And then, it gets that Deus Ex Machina where she happens to drink from a place and it gives her superpowers. And she's able to come back and win out.
And instead of having to change her tactics.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I said, we realized, in the end of the second act, we beat you up too bad, so we got to get you to recover. But then you're just so overpowered that, you're fighting, fisticuffs with a god.
Yeah, I mean, I forgave it a lot of its, call them transgressions. And like I said, I just enjoyed the tone. I liked Amina as a narrator, and it's definitely not perfect. I wouldn't say it's worthy of the Hugo Award, but I would say it's an enjoyable book. I would not have read this if it hadn't been for Some Desperate Glory. So I definitely preferred this over Some Desperate Glory.
Are you going to read the second one?
This one of this?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not. I'm calling it quits, but. I agree with you. It's definitely better than Some Desperate Glory by a landslide. My sci-fi book club
by
where we read
star.
By the pretty much. No, it's more like 2 stars because Some Desperate Glory really doesn't deserve a star, but Goodreads doesn't let you do that.
You can just leave it unrated, I guess.
Yeah, that's not the same though as 0 stars. But no, it's just my book club. Basically, like the woman was saying, because she does the voting for the Hugo. She participates in that. A couple other people in the group do too.
Okay.
So, and she had said that this book probably should have won it over Some Desperate Glory, and I think this was the one she was referencing. But she also said it was also a weak year. So the Hugo, because basically they won't not give a Hugo out, but there's some years that it's just not a good list of books, and that this was one of those years that it just nothing was above and beyond super crazy good.
It didn't nothing that changed the sphere of sci-fi.
Yeah, I mean, usually when you think of a Hugo, you're thinking something that's genre bending, where it's changing something with the way things are written in science fiction and fantasy.
Yeah, I don't know, when we did Some Desperate Glory, I read off a list of winners, and it's like, okay, these are like the Cadillacs of... Yeah,
I mean, even J.K. Rowling's Goblet of Fire. You think it's like, that's pretty, but, whatever at this point. But you think back then, that was groundbreaking. Like, people hadn't read a YA fantasy at that level before.
Yeah, and I don't know, just to talk about Great Sacrifice, that's the book where people start, the bodies start dropping.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people die in that.
Yeah.
And
a lot of popular people, a lot of characters that were fairly popular.
Yeah, they
they weren't the main characters.
Yeah, they defeat Voldemort at great personal cost.
Yeah.
Every character suffers a major losses to try and destroy this. With Falco here, he's nobody really loses anything. They managed to beat him.
So I did feel like this book had the potential to be that. It just fell flat.
So it's just have even one minor character die.
So not even
if Majad, if they had spent all that time trying to save him from coming on the voyage and then he died at the end.
Oh, that would have been really good. Epic. Or one of the characters losing something like a major body part where they can't Delilah there losing her eyes completely. Basically, they're like, yeah, she's going blind. Well, yeah, she's just from old age. She's losing her. She's getting nearsighted.
Yeah.
And oh, it's because of all the chemicals. It's like, no, I'm just getting old. This is what happens. Usually, this is when we die because we blow something up and we blow it up in our face because we didn't know what we were mixing anymore. I got some questions, Alex.
All right, lay them on me.
Did the one last job trope work for you in the story? Why or why not?
I like the one last job trope, especially because it wound up being so much bigger than initially. Like, you always expect the one last job to be more than you would
never expect the Spanish Inquisition.
Wow, that was unfunny. But yeah, this one.
You're welcome, Alex.
Yeah. This one blows it up to much larger proportions, so I like that about it.
I liked it too. I thought there was a lot of, again, going into this, I was leery because there's a lot of ways this could it's overdone and done wrong. I thought this actually worked pretty well. Which member of Amina's crew was your favorite and why?
I like Dalila. She's a wisecracking poisoner lady.
Yeah, I feel like the navigator Majed had the most potential to be likable, though, if they just did something with him.
Yeah,
because he was like the one adult in the group kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that these guys come out a little bit more in the sequels.
Did you ever read The Lies of Locke Lamora?
No.
Okay. You should probably read it, Alex. It's worth a read. It's similar to this, but take place more in a fantasy Venice. I think you would like it. It's thieves trying to do the major heist kind of thing.
Okay.
And it has a lot of similarities to this. I think it's overall a better story. Comparing the two. That book also has a lot of problems with it. Just the way it's written, and I remember when I read it, the way it was described to me, it was going to be Ocean's 11, and it was not Ocean's 11. I was expecting something a lot smarter, where it ended up being more violent. So that was just bad expectations. But I think comparing these two novels, that's definitely worth a read. I think you'll enjoy that one if you enjoyed this one.
Yeah, I'll have to give that a try.
Let's see, you like the humor, so we can skip over that. Shannon wrote fanfic before breaking out. As a method of getting published, a publishing deal, has this been an effective way for the publishing houses to find new authors and pump out literature?
I mean, you got to look at 50 Shades of Grey. It was Twilight fanfic to start with, so I mean,
yeah.
Well, obviously
it's been successful, but I'm just wondering, as someone who really enjoys like the classics and just good quality writing, how do you compare what the publishing houses are looking for now for getting out big hits versus actual, like, I want to say this is bad writing necessarily, even though it has a lot of problems, but someone that's even what's his face, the Brandon Sanderson, I feel like he's talented enough. If he wanted to write hardcore literature, he could probably do that and be very successful and put out really high quality stuff. But he's a fantasy geek, so he puts out really high quality fantasy books. So, and you've read a little bit of Brandon Sanderson, right?
Yeah, I read Way of Kings and the Reckoners trilogy.
Okay, and so I guess if you're comparing someone like that who came out of high end writing going into getting a publishing deal versus these more fanfic authors that get publishing deals because their fanfic got really popular on some forum. What is your opinion? Between that contrast of the two.
I mean, some people are really against fanfic because I feel like before AI, fanfic was AI. Like people like writing, writing stories based on other people's characters. It's a common practice, honestly. Like even anytime you see a character from another story appear, that's technically like a fanfic kind of thing. I don't really have a problem with fan fiction overall, and it speaks to some people. Some people really enjoy fan fiction, and obviously it's got a wide audience since a lot of these people get that it can, if you're good enough at it, you can get attention and start putting out your own stuff. So,
do you think it's been good for the publishing industry?
Yeah, and I think it's a good way for authors to learn how to write as well. I mean, just publishing stuff on fanfic forums, and if it starts taking off, you'll be like, oh, I have some other ideas too. It's like a cover band that releases their own materials as well. You can, But yeah, I think I mean, obviously, original content is always going to be better. It's always going to be more relevant and important. However, I think fanfic serves a purpose, and it while it's I'm not gonna ever be caught reading fan fiction unless it's as a joke, but it's
you need to talk to somebody in the other room about some fanfic.
Yeah, some of it can be really entertaining.
Yeah, Alex, let's just say you have a good chance of winning the competition this year because someone has given up on reading actual novels.
Sometimes fanfic can be a lot of fun. Like My Immortal was like a classic. Yeah.
Stop fucking calling me out here, sir.
Okay. All right. So Becky's a big fanfic fan. See?
Yeah.
That's my case in point. Called herself out, so I'd stop calling her out.
So mean. It me.
How does the novel play with the struggle between mother and adventurer, and does it do it well?
I think so. I think it does it pretty well. Yeah, obviously, like you want to go home to your kid, but at the same time, just it's that personal feeling, like of the old life calling you back, the call of the wild. Just want to go back to that life you had.
And you are getting to that age, Alex, where you're getting old, and
yeah. And there's a lot of like the jokes about the creaky bones and the bad backs.
You're noticing that with yourself now too, aren't you?
Oh my god! Yeah, if I didn't do yoga, my back would be trash right now. But I think Amina's constantly torn between her new life and her old life, and she finally admits to herself like one of the reasons she signed up is because she wanted to go back to her old life, and this is a chance for her to do that. And as much as she loves being a mom, like she also loved being a pirate.
Are you familiar with Islam at all?
Not
really.
Not enough to comment on it.
Okay. Do you think the book handled the religion well then, with what little you do know of it?
I think, any religious aspects, they tend to be further back in the plotting of everything.
I mean, it does kind of dictate how, at least when it's convenient, dictate her life with the prayer
prayer and the it's kind of the motivation for her marrying Raksh. It's because she's like, it's like, this is my one chance to get into heaven. I can't have sex out of wedlock.
Okay. Is Amina a reliable narrator as she tells the story to us?
Well, I think as you pointed out, she's definitely kind of glossed over some of the worst things she's done. Talking about like it's like these are pirates, these are bad people, these are killers, and she's like, well, I only killed people that deserved it, and I only in self-defense. And it's like, no, you've probably looted ships, you've probably destroyed people's lives, you've probably done a lot of bad things. So she's not a reliable narrator, and she's not this noble person that she seems to be portraying herself to be.
What does the story say about legacy, what we leave behind for others?
The story does play pretty hard, like talking about the Moon of Saba and how like the story changes and.
Not even just that, but
I'm just talking about how like the story changes and how that can change your legacy. So like Amina is this kind of, she's almost like mild mannered. Yeah, she's a strict pirate captain, but at the same time, she's not this all powerful warlord like she gets portrayed in the legends of her. So I think it plays well with legend and legacy because her reputation precedes her, even though she is not entirely this earned thing through her stories or through the actions. It's through the stories that were told about them.
What's the advantages of doing first-person narration in this novel? I mean, it kind of gives us that unreliable narrator ability.
It gives us the unreliable narrator, and it also gives us a little more mystery because like you can, like a third person omniscient, you're gonna know a lot more about like what every character is thinking, and you can go away from Amina and you can see other characters moving and doing things. And so
Do you think that would have helped this novel?
I liked it as a first person, limited knowledge. I liked learning things with Amina as she went along, without other characters kind of like coming in and out.
What role does mythological inspiration play in the novel's world building?
I mean, it's deeply rooted in Middle Eastern history. We kind of touched on that quite a bit.
But I mean, like, I guess you already said you don't really know the religion or other religions for the region too much, or the past cultures there, do you?
No, I don't.
Okay.
So, yeah, I like this. I mean, obviously, the like history in general is not my forte, and
What is your forte, Alex?
I'm a book guy. I'm bad at history. I'm bad at geography. It's
Math.
I'm okay at math. But,
Yeah. Engineering.
Engineering. I'm bad at guitar. I'm bad at writing. I'm bad at podcasting.
Let's try the things you're good at, Alex. That will be a short list.
The lore behind the book is not something I'm very familiar with. I think she does a good job of crafting a story that even a lay person such as me can follow along and comprehend. There's just enough historical background for me to sink my hands into to get the story.
Sink your hands into. You're mixing your metaphors, Alex.
Yes, I am. To hand my sink towards.
What structural choices make the story feel like a legendary tale rather than a simple adventure? Kind of like comparing The Hobbit versus Lord of the Rings.
I think it's the fact that it's bigger than it's initially portrayed to be is a big helpful. I think you kind of pointed out a lot of the flaws with the storytelling and how it follows a cookie cutter assembly line style of storytelling that you see in pop literature, which, I mean, it's not going to achieve the Hobbit levels of...
No, I'm not saying comparing it to The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings. I'm just saying, using like where The Hobbit is more of a simple adventure tale, Lord of the Rings is that legendary epic tale. And I guess it's because it's the scope of the adventure, essentially. Because, while Frodo is very focused on just getting the ring to Mordor, we got all these other characters that have all these crazy adventures, and we see the wider world, the effects of the ring, and to the point of destroying it. Versus in The Hobbit is literally, we're gonna go to this mountain and kill this dragon so that the dwarves can rule the mountain again.
Yeah, and then there's a big battle, and Bilbo passes out, and he's missed the whole thing. They just kind of recap it.
Yeah,
it's a weird story. I mean, this one obviously, like, it doesn't have the omniscient storytelling that Lord of the Rings had, but it's more than just the simple fetch quest that The Hobbit is. So this is it's somewhere in between. It's not. It's rooted in the real world too. There's like the world building is more of a history lesson than it is creating a fantasy land.
Well, I guess my complaint so originally we're going to go find this giant pearl. It's going to be pretty. It's going to be worth a lot of money, and we're going to go snatch this girl back to her grandma. And it goes to this, we're freeing a god from a prison. But where Lord of the Rings is going to have this whole lore and consequences and your world affecting actions, this is just fails at doing that, and just stays so focused on the here and now, and we don't know what happened to Rast. We don't know what happened to the daughter when this god got out briefly. We don't, or all these other chaos demons. We don't know how other societies, even if they even noticed, which they, according to the lore, they should have noticed, and we didn't have any of that. Like it's not like they go back and, hey, the city that we knew was destroyed. How did it get destroyed? And it's like, there was this weird tsunami that hit us.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
It makes sense. So I said you get. So it says trying to go legendary, but failed at that. But went a little bit beyond the just simple trying to go beyond the simple adventure.
Yeah. It's I think, I don't know if it's limitations of the author being able to write something of that size and scope, but she finds her strengths and she kind of just stays in that pocket. She doesn't go above and beyond.
Okay. So now we get to the comparing it to Some Desperate Glory, Alex.
Okay.
Let's just do that. Let's
do it.
So I think we both agree that this should have won it over Some Desperate Glory.
Yes.
Even though you generally liked it, I liked big chunks of it, but then the parts I didn't like kind of really tore it down for me. But said whole star better.
Yes.
So, what are some parallels? Some where it was different. What do you have to say to compare it?
Well, I like going back to the humor. The book has a lot of just jokes, a campy tone. It's not just this miserable slog where the protagonist is trying to right every wrong in the world. She's just this person who's doing something that essentially it's a self-serving quest where she's like, oh, I'm going to get 1 million dinars and never have to worry about me and mine ever again. And it's like, she's got everything kind of like figured out already. And she has to use her worldly knowledge to try and, I guess, save herself. And it's not this whole, and whereas in Some Desperate Glory is this angry person who like needs to like you were saying, subvert the entire system and eventually like creates their own system with its own flaws and problems, and she's also wildly unlikable. Whereas Amina, even though she's a pirate, like she's
charismatic.
Yeah, she's charismatic. She's likable. She's fun. She's funny, and worldly, and like it's like. Whereas, like, I don't know, the other person's just annoying and like, it's like, I would not invite you to a party. I would invite Amina to a party.
I think you can have the unlikable character, but you have to be really good at writing unlikable characters.
Yeah, Emily Tesh was not good at writing that.
No, she's just not good at writing, period. Let's face it.
Yeah. And, I don't know, it's kind of like reading Desperate Glory and The Poppy War, like, close together. Also, especially, like, that character has been written so many times. It's and what I liked about Amina was like this is not a character I see very often. The worldly, older female protagonist. You want the young, pissed off one who's still like trying to discover themselves. Whereas Amina's pretty set in her ways, and it leads to a lot of fun because also her ways keep getting challenged. And she has to either defend them or adapt, and it's kind of cool to watch.
And I think Some Desperate Glory, Tesh tried to tackle some very big subjects and did very bad at it. Chakraborty had more nuanced things that she was tackling that were they're still very big, like the whole thing of, like you said, an older woman having to go back into a rough life and deal with in a world of men and do all this stuff and be a mother and be the adventurer. So, but it was more nuanced, and she actually was, even though with all the problems in the novel, she actually was able to do what she set out to do.
Yeah, I think she created more acceptance and understanding also of like LGBT like messaging. Like Emily Tesh like bashed you over the head with it, and like like we talked about it at length on that episode. Go back and listen to it. Whereas like this one, like it's like part of the character's background. Like Timbu's gay, and
we don't get into this huge
Jamal,
thing about Timbu being gay.
Yeah.
It's just
Jamal's,
he's gay.
Yeah, Jamal is trans, and that's like part of it ties into the plot, but it's not the plot. Whereas it became everything in Some Desperate Glory. It's like every character had to be gay except for the bad guys, and it was just like the most ham-fisted.
It was just repeated over and over and over. Yeah. Oh, look at this straight white guy. It's like, okay, yeah, you guys are just as bad.
Whereas it's like, I don't know, Amina learns that Jamal is trans. It's sort of like, a lot of people who take to the sea when they're questioning themselves. And like they were trying to discover themselves. So it's
the whole diversity thing was explained. It's like, we're on the ocean. So we're going port to port, and when we lose crew members, we have to replace them. So yeah, everyone is pretty accepting of skin color because you can't not be.
Yeah, it's just like it's a quick little like snap, quick little like here's our views on it, and then proceed with the stories. I appreciated that this the story's sake was not just bogged down in the message, where it is the message kind of flows through it a lot more fluidly.
Yeah, so I think this novel just does a lot better job doing everything that it did. Like I said, it's not perfect by any stretch, not great at it, but it was competent enough. And yeah, there was a lot of by the end of the story, I was done with it. I was just trying to get it over with, because it's just like, okay, read this kind of scene a million times now, and nothing new here. But Some Desperate Glory, from page 1, it was a slog. And I said that this book had a lot of good sections, chunks of sections, where I was like, okay, you actually have a really good story here. You just needed a little bit more push to make it, a great story.
Yeah, could have used better editing and a little bit stronger writing.
Where I think Some Desperate Glory, there was no way to save that book, from early on. It was just so poorly executed from the beginning.
It's like you ran out of ideas halfway through, and all of a sudden time travel comes into play. It's like, oh, God.
Yeah, so, The Adventures of Amina Al-Sirafi.
Hey, you got the name right.
If I don't think about it, I can do it. It's when I'm trying to think about it, just sound it out, I screw it up. Okay. It's my pick next month.
Oh, yes.
What am I picking, Alex?
You are picking your nose. Got him.
Oh, boy. So I am going full-on science fiction. This should have been a Hugo winner, but when it was written, there was no Hugos. But this is probably the most well-known science fiction name author in the history of science fiction.
Definitely the first alphabetically.
Not first alphabetically, but near the top.
Yeah.
But I think everyone knows the name.
Yeah,
Isaac Asimov.
Yes.
Everyone knows the name. The book, we're doing the first robot series book, Caves of Steel. So people probably aren't familiar with that, but because they know iRobot.
Yes.
And so this is the first full novel of his robots, where everything else, the iRobot, all that stuff is short stories. But this is a full novel. This was written in, I believe, the late 40s, published in early 50s.
Yeah. Asimov's also one of the most prolific sci-fi authors out there.
Yes, somewhere between 300 and 500 books.
Yes.
Or I think it was novels, which is insane.
Yeah.
But this guy, and a lot of them are nonfiction too. Like half of them are nonfiction.
Dude just sat down and wrote.
Yeah, and anyway, so we'll get into that next month. But yeah, that's my pick, Caves of Steel by Isaac Asimov. I think, Alex, you're really going to like it.
I think I will. Yes.
I just finished it. You have yet to start it, so
it's a quick read.
Yeah, it's a shorter book. Yeah, like most science fiction from that era, they struggle to get past the novella length.
Yeah, I appreciate a brief novel. After reading the 2-for-1 with Theft with Swords, I appreciate that.
Okay. So yeah, Alex, anything else you have to say?
That's all I got.
Okay, so we got a quick announcement here. So as you all know, Alex and I both have a medium. We get 100 reads. The other person has to read that book. Alex is discovering that it's going to be a slow grind for him to get me. But we have our first book with exactly 100 reads at time of recording. We just looked it up before we hit record. Alex has to now read Between Two Fires. So I thank you all for helping me out on that to get Alex to read a great novel. I think you're going to like it, Alex.
I think I will too. And if you want to make Joe read something, go check out my medium. The Cock in Me by Julian Napier is a fantastic read. I think it'll be a great episode. So get on the 100 of you that read Joe's book review, go read my Cock review.
Alex is getting a little nervous because I'm about to get a second book that's also going to hit 100 reads. Complicity by Ian Banks.
That's going to be all of our bonus episodes.
Yeah, going forward here, just my other reads. But anyway, so definitely check out our Medium. Those are going to be in the link tree or the links down below in our feed. We have a Facebook. We don't do much with the Facebook, but definitely join, and maybe we'll start doing more. We're on Instagram at Kendall Bookworms. I have a Gmail account, kendallbookworms@gmail.com. Email me there. Give us recommendations, stuff you want to do, stuff you want us to cover. We would love to get some recommendations, and most of the recommendations we've had in the past have been fantastic. We want you to rate us on Apple and Spotify. Leave comments there if you can. We have a YouTube at Kendall Bookworms. You can, if you don't want to listen to the podcast, we don't do video, but you can listen to us on that. We got the Medium. I have a Substack also, where I post all of those same book reviews. If you don't want to help Alex out and force him to read my books, you can go check them out there. We're both on Goodreads. Those links will be in the description too, where I put all my book reviews there too. But you can also see what else we're reading, for stuff, what we don't talk about here. Alex, we got anything else we want to say? Alex has books for sale.
Paul Plimpton vs. Ragnarok and The Destroyer.
How are you doing on getting the second book re-edited?
I should be done re-editing it by this month.
Okay.
I usually say that, and then it'll be the following month. But yes, I'm working on it.
Being that this episode's not coming out till this episode isn't coming out when? This is what, June, July, midsummer.
Yeah, I think this is June's episode.
Okay, so yeah, you got a little bit of time. Remember, you have till Thanksgiving, I believe, is what I gave you.
Yeah, Thanksgiving, which is December 15th.
Okay, Alex needs to go look at a calendar. I'm all set, Alex. So you got anything else you want to say?
Adventures of Amina Al-Sirafi. Vote it up. It's a good book.
Okay.
But that's all I got for you. So, tune in next time for Caves of Steel. Until then, I'm Alex.
And I'm Joe.
This has been Bookworms.
Out.